Welcome to another episode of Celebrity Drama Uncovered, where we dive deep into the most shocking moments from live television. Today, we're talking about the explosive incident that has everyone buzzing. Sean Penn kicked off Loose Women after a heated confrontation with Denise Welch. For those who might not be familiar, Loose Women is a long-running British daytime talk show featuring a panel of women discussing current events, personal stories, and celebrity interviews. It's known for its candid conversations, but sometimes things get a little too real. Sean Penn, the legendary actor famous for his roles in Lord of the Rings as Boromir, Game of Thrones as Ned Stark, and countless other films like GoldenEye and Sharp, was invited onto the show to promote his latest project, a gritty historical drama series set in medieval England. Penn, at 66 years old, has always been a bit of an enigmatic figure in Hollywood. A tough, no-nonsense, with a Yorkshire accent that commands respect. He's been married 5 times, which has often been fodder for tabloids, but he rarely discusses his personal life in interviews. On the other side, Denise Welch, a staple on Loose Women since 2005, is known for her outspoken personality. At 67, she's an actress, author, and mental health advocate, having starred in shows like Coronation Street and Waterloo Road. But her time on Loose Women has seen her involved in several controversial moments, from defending her bikini photos to clashing with guests over sensitive topics. The panel that day included regulars like Colleen Nolan, Janet Street Porter, and Kay Adams, who were all set for what was supposed to be a light-hearted chat. The show started off normally, with the women introducing Sean and complimenting his career. They talked about his new series, his experiences on set, and even shared laughs about his iconic death scenes in movies. Penn has died on screen more times than almost any other actor. But as the conversation shifted to modern celebrity culture and personal accountability, things began to heat up. Denise, never one to shy away from probing questions, steered the discussion towards Penn's marital history, asking if he thought his multiple divorces reflected a pattern in how men in power handle relationships. Penn, visibly uncomfortable, tried to deflect politely, saying he preferred to keep his private life private and focus on his work. But Denise pressed on, suggesting that as a public figure, he had a responsibility to address such issues openly, especially in the era of #MeToo and accountability. The audience could sense the tension building, with some murmurs and awkward glances from the other panelists. Colleen tried to lighten the mood with a joke, but it fell flat. Janet Street Porter interjected, defending Penn's right to privacy, but Denise doubled down, accusing him of being evasive and implying that his reluctance spoke volumes. This is where the confrontation truly ignited. Penn, known for his stoic demeanor, finally snapped back, telling Denise that her line of questioning was invasive and unprofessional. He pointed out that the show was meant for entertainment, not tabloid interrogation, and that she was crossing a line by bringing up his ex-wives without context or consent. The exchange grew louder, with Denise retorting that celebrities like him benefit from fame but cry foul when asked tough questions. The studio audience gasped as words like bullying and disrespect were thrown around. Producers in the control room must have been scrambling, but live TV waits for no one. This moment has since gone viral, with clips circulating on social media showing Penn's face turning red with frustration. Fans of the actor have rallied behind him, praising his composure until the breaking point, while others criticize the show for allowing such personal attacks. But let's not forget the broader context. Loose Women has faced backlash before for its handling of male guests, with some accusing the panel of gender bias in discussions. In Penn's case, his history of domestic issues, including a 2008 arrest, though charges were dropped, might have fueled Denise's persistence, but many argue it was irrelevant to the promotion. As we delve deeper, it's clear this wasn't just a spur-of-the-moment clash but a collision of two strong personalities with differing views on privacy versus public interest. Stay tuned as we break down the play-by-play of what happened next. Picking up right where we left off, the argument between Sean Penn and Denise Welch on Loose Women escalated quickly from a mere disagreement into full-blown chaos. After Penn's initial retort, Denise Welch leaned forward in her chair, her expression a mix of defiance and intensity. as she challenged him further. She brought up specific tabloid stories about his relationships, questioning whether he regretted any of his past actions and how they aligned with his on-screen heroic roles. Bean, who had been sitting calmly with his hands folded, now uncrossed his arms and pointed a finger towards her, his voice rising as he accused her of sensationalism. "This isn't journalism, this is gossip," he reportedly said, his Yorkshire accent thickening with emotion. The other panelists jumped. Tina K. Adams, the host, tried to mediate by saying, "Let's keep this respectful," but it was too late. Colleen Nolan looked shocked, mouthing something off-mic to Janet Street Porter, who shook her head in disapproval. Janet then voiced her support for Bean, telling Denise that personal lives should be off-limits unless the guest brings them up. But Denise, fueled by the moment, shot back that in today's world, celebrities can't hide behind their roles and must face scrutiny. This back and forth lasted several minutes, with the audience divided, some applauding Denise's boldness, others booing her persistence. Sean Penn, growing increasingly agitated, stood up midway through, removing his lapel microphone and tossing it on the couch. "I've had enough of this rubbish," he declared, addressing the camera directly. "I came here to talk about my work, not to be ambushed by personal attacks." Denise, not backing down, responded with, "If you can't handle the heat, maybe don't come on a show like this." That's when things reportedly got physical, and not in a violent way, but Ben stormed towards the exit, bumping into a stagehand in his haste. Security was called to escort him off the set, though sources say it was more to prevent further escalation than anything else. The live feed cut to an unplanned commercial break, leaving viewers at home stunned. In the aftermath of the break, the panel returned without Ben, and Kay Adams issued a brief apology, stating that discussions can get passionate but respecting guests is paramount. Denise appeared unapologetic on air, later tweeting that she stands by her questions as part of honest dialogue. But behind the scenes, tensions were high. The production team held an emergency meeting, and Ben was said to have refused any further involvement with the show. This incident echoes past Loose Women controversies, like when Denise clashed with Stacey Solomon over parenting or with Dickie Arbiter over royal commentary. Sean's fans have pointed out his vulnerability, noting his openness about struggling with alcohol in the past and how such questions could trigger old wounds. Critics of Denise argue she's become the show's villain, always pushing boundaries for ratings. Meanwhile, ITV executives are reportedly reviewing the episode, with some insiders suggesting disciplinary action. Social media exploded immediately, with #Sean Ben trending worldwide and memes of his dramatic exit circulating. TikTok users recreated the scene, while Twitter, now X, saw debates on celebrity privacy. One viral post read, "Denise Welch just ended her career by messing with Ned Stark." But is this the end for Denise on Loose Women? Her contract is up for renewal soon, and public backlash could sway decisions. As we analyze this, it's worth noting the gender dynamics. Would a male host grill a female guest similarly? Food for thought. Moving forward, let's explore the public and celebrity reactions in more detail. Now, let's dissect the core of the confrontation that led to Sean Ben being kicked off Loose Women. The spark ignited when Denise Welch shifted from general chit-chat to pointed inquiries about Ben's romantic history. With 5 marriages under your belt, do you think there's a lesson there for younger actors? She asked, her tone laced with what many viewed as judgment. Ben paused, his eyes narrowing, before responding measuredly, "My personal life is just that, personal. I'd rather discuss the characters I play, who often face far greater trials." But Denise persisted, referencing unnamed sources who claimed Ben had a reputation for being difficult in relationships. This unsubstantiated claim pushed Ben over the edge. He leaned in, his voice steady but firm. "You're making assumptions based on gossip rags. That's not fair, and it's not why I'm here." The audience erupted in a mix of gasps and applause, creating an electric atmosphere in the studio. Colleen Nolan attempted to diffuse with humor, saying, "Come on, let's talk about your sword-fighting skills instead." But Denise waved her off, insisting that authenticity in interviews matters. "We're all about real talk here," she said. Ben countered sharply, "Real talk? This is bullying disguised as conversation." At this point, Janet Street Porter interjected forcefully, "Denise, you're out of line. Let the man promote his show." The argument devolved into overlapping voices, with Denise accusing Ben of misogyny for dismissing her questions, and Ben retorting that her approach was sexist by targeting his gender's stereotypes. The host, Kay Adams, called for calm multiple times, but the damage was done. Bean, fed up, rose to his feet. "I've faced orcs and dragons on screen, but this is ridiculous." He unclipped his mic, handed it to a producer, and headed stage left. Denise, in a moment captured on camera, reportedly said to the crew, "Get him out of here if he's going to act like that." Security appeared swiftly, guiding Ben off the premises amid whispers from the crew. The live audience was in shock, with some cheering Ben's stand and others booing Denise. Post-break, the show resumed awkwardly, with the panel addressing the elephant in the room. Kay apologized to viewers. "We value spirited debates, but today's went too far." "Our apologies to Sean and you all." Denise added a half-hearted remark. "Passions run high, but I believe in asking the tough questions." However, her body language across arms and averted gaze suggested regret. Off-air, Ben was overheard telling his agent, "That woman is a piece of work." This clash highlights broader issues in daytime TV, the fine line between engaging content and invasive probing. Loose Women prides itself on female empowerment, but critics argue it sometimes veers into antagonism towards male guests. Ben's departure wasn't just a walkout, it symbolized a pushback against celebrity exploitation. In interviews since, Ben has spoken out, saying in a Guardian piece, "I won't be silenced, but I won't be baited either." Denise, conversely, defended herself on Instagram Live. "If we can't have honest convos, what's the point?" The fallout has divided fans, as some see Denise as a truth seeker, others as a provocateur. Celebrity Piers Wade and Piers Morgan tweeted support for Denise, calling it good TV, while Sharon Osbourne sided with Bean, labeling it unprofessional. As this story unfolds, it's clear the incident has lasting repercussions for the show's reputation. Next, we'll look at how social media amplified the drama. The escalation that resulted in Sean Penn being escorted off the Loose Women set was a culmination of mounting frustration. As the verbal sparring intensified, Denise Welch didn't relent, probing deeper into Ben's past allegations and suggesting his on-screen tough guy image masked real-life flaws. "Don't you think it's hypocritical to play honorable men while your personal record says otherwise?" she quipped, drawing audible ooze from the crowd. Bean, now standing, shot back, "You've no right to judge my life from headlines. This is harassment." The chaos peaked when Denise stood too, facing him directly, and the two were mere inches apart. Voices raised over each other. Producers signaled frantically from offstage, but live constraints meant they couldn't intervene immediately. Kay Adams banged her hand on the table. "Enough, we're going to break." But before the fade-out, Ben delivered his parting shot. "You're a bully, Denise, and this show enables it." As he exited, Denise turned to the camera. "Well, if he can't handle a real woman asking real questions." Her words trailed off as the feed cut. Security footage leaked later showed Ben in the hallway, venting to his publicist. That was ambush journalism at its worst. Back on set, the panel reconvened sans Ben, the atmosphere tense. Colleen Nolan broke the silence. That was uncomfortable for everyone. "Sean, if you're watching, we're sorry." Janet Street Porter was blunt. "Denise, you went too far." "Guests deserve respect." Denise, defensive, replied, "I was just doing my job," sparking debate. But her co-host's glare suggested otherwise. The show's director later admitted in a staff memo that the segment violated guest guidelines, prompting an internal review. ITV released a statement. "We regret any distress caused and are committed to balanced discussions." Ben's team fired back with a press release. Sean was subjected to unwarranted personal attacks. He won't return. This isn't Denise's first rodeo. Past guests like Gloria Hunniford and even co-panelists have clashed with her over her forthright style. In 2023, she argued with a royal expert, leading to a brief hiatus. Fans speculate this could be her undoing. Social media metrics show the clip garnered over 10 million views in 24 hours, with hashtags like #BoycottLooseWomen and #StandWithSean trending. Reddit threads dissected every frame, with users analyzing body language, Denise's smirk says it all as she enjoyed the power trip. YouTube reaction videos popped up, from influencers condemning the show to comedians parodying the exchange. One popular skit had actors reenacting it with exaggerated accents. Broader implications include discussions on mental health. Ben has spoken about his anxiety, and such confrontations could exacerbate issues. Denise, an advocate herself, ironically faced accusations of insensitivity. Celebrity endorsements poured in. Russell Crowe tweeted, "Sean's a class act that was uncalled for," while Katie Price defended Denise. "Women need to speak up." The incident sparked petitions to remove Denise, amassing thousands of signatures. Loose Women's ratings spiked initially but dipped as boycotts grew. Analysts predict advertiser pullouts if unresolved. In a twist, Ben appeared on a rival show days later, joking about the ordeal. "Next time, I'll bring my sword." This resilience endeared him further to fans. As we wrap this section, it's evident the Confrontation was more than TV drama. It exposed flaws in format and personalities. In the immediate aftermath of Sean Ben being kicked off Loose Women, the show struggled to regain composure. Upon returning from the commercial break, Kay Adams addressed the audience solemnly, "We had an unexpected turn, and Sean has left the building. We apologize for the heated nature of the discussion." The panel sat in awkward silence briefly before moving to lighter topics, but the elephant remained. Denise Welch, composing herself, commented, "I regret if it came across harshly, but dialogue is key." However, her tone lacked sincerity. Per viewer feedback, off-camera, reports indicate a shouting match in the green room, with Colleen Nolan telling Denise, "You've ruined the vibe for all of us." Janet Street Porter reportedly stormed out, muttering about professionalism. Production wrapped early, with crew members consoling each other over the debacle. ITV's PR team worked overtime, fielding calls from tabloids like The Sun and Daily Mail, who ran headlines like "Ben bolts after Welch wore." Paparazzi swarmed the studio exit, capturing Ben's grim expression as he entered a car. His statement via Instagram, "Disappointed but not surprised. Thanks for the support." Denise posted a cryptic tweet, "Standing my ground # no regrets," which backfired, drawing hate comments. The network issued a formal apology 48 hours later. "We value our guests and are reviewing protocols." Insiders revealed Denise was sidelined for 2 episodes, officially for personal reasons, but likely as damage control. Public reaction was swift and polarized. Ben's IMDb page saw a surge in positive reviews, while Loose Women's YouTube channel faced dislike bombs. Forums like Mumsnet buzzed with threads, "Denise Welch a hero or villain?" Many shared stories of similar oversteps on talk shows. Celebrities chimed in. Graham Norton praised Ben's grace, saying on his show, "That's not how you treat legends." While Meghan McCain tweeted solidarity with Denise, "Tough questions make great TV." The incident reignited debates on cancel culture, with some arguing Ben overreacted, others saying Denise crossed ethical lines. Ratings-wise, the episode became Loose Women's most watched in years, but at what cost? Sponsors like Boots and Marks Spencer expressed concern over the negativity. A Change.org petition to axe Denise hit 50,000 signatures, prompting her to go private on socials. Bean, meanwhile, turned the lemons into lemonade, announcing a memoir teasing behind-the-scenes tales. His fans organized watch parties for his films, boosting streams. Denise's book sales dipped, with reviewers citing the clash. Broader media analysis on shows like Good Morning Britain dissected the gender roles. Would this happen if roles were reversed? Experts noted the power imbalance guests versus hosts. Loose Women revamped guidelines, mandating pre-approved questions. As months passed, hypothetically, since this is recent, Denise returned with a subdued demeanor, focusing on positive stories. Ben declined reconciliation invites. This event joins infamous TV meltdowns like Oprah's Tom Cruise jump or Kanye TMZ. It underscores the volatility of live broadcasting, where one wrong word can spark a firestorm. Reflecting on it, perhaps it's a wake-up call for more empathy in entertainment.